I think that we can safely call today Fran's very bad, no good day. I don't even want to get into it because I was just telling my friend about this earlier today, and just the absolute bonkers shit that Victor and I are dealing with at our apartment right now. We are literally under attack from all angles. I'm gonna actually tell you anyway. So, all of this started with me getting offered black tar heroin at the bus stop outside of my apartment complex. This already gives me questions about what about me is giving off I'm gonna do black tar heroin. Please tell me. I mean, you guys, I do have a deficit of mean comments because I don't get any comments. So if there's something about me that gives off black tar heroin doer, I don't even know if you smoke it or inject it or what, please do tell me, because that's obviously something that I want to change. Then, so there's this cat that's been showing up at our building, and she's a cat with an owner. Like, this is not like a stray cat. And the reason that I have a problem with this is, number one, okay, like, the cat is like outside and we have coyotes. So a coyote can get this cat at any time. Cat is clearly neglected because it's wearing a flea collar. Cat is not being looked out for during the day. And fourthly, like, you're not supposed to have your cats loose because it's really, really bad for the native wildlife, because cats don't just kill when they're hungry, they like kill for fun. So cats hanging out at our building, our landlord is also just like, oh, well, don't want a stray animal just hanging out around the building. Landlord calls animal control. Animal control says, oh yeah, we know. Yeah, we know the owner. She just likes to let her cat roam around. And so I'm like, oh, like, I guess this is just like a weird legal thing and it's like allowed here, but it's literally against the law here. So now I'm kind of in this place where I'm like, I'm way too busy to be the one who actually like calls somebody to take care of this neglected animal. But I'm gonna fucking have to, because literally every single one of our neighbors, except for two, is feeding this cat, so it's gonna get fucking fat soon. Also, guy in building next door to me, not in my building, knock on wood, guy in building next door to me. Caesars, you know about all of this. The Caesars are telling me that I need to do black magic to get rid of them, and that is another thing where I'm like, I don't really have the energy to be doing dark magic right now. I'm supposed to be dissertating. Guy in building next door has taken to playing some kind of brass instrument, like a tuba or something, like some kind of brass horn, every single day of the week, morning and night, sometimes for 4 hours at night. No, 5 hours at night. Once it was literally 5 hours from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m. Non-stop, and he's not even doing it inside his apartment. He is doing this on the balcony, so it's just reverberating out through the entire neighborhood. And it's also, like, I think playing may not be the most accurate word to describe this activity that he's doing. It's like one single out of tune note over and over and over again. So I just, like, it's a fucking good thing I'm reading that Buddhism book right now. I'm gonna tell you that much. Because, you know, in one ear I have Caesars, I have you telling me that I should kill all these people. And in my other ear, I have Victor telling me that shoot first, ask questions later is not a great adult way to solve your problems. So I'm doing neither of those things today. Today I'm going to relax with some florals and some wine, and we're just gonna fucking cope by talking about a movie that I really like. I also I have these wooden flowers too. These are reed flowers. So I got those as well to kind of supplement. I have Gypsophila, which is this one. I have chamomile for stress. And then I have 2 different types of eucalyptus. And then I have the wooden reed flowers. So I'm gonna start off maybe by making a bouquet for me and one for Victor. And then we will see where we're at after that. How are you guys? How are your neighbors? Have any of you successfully, we'll say, taken care of a neighbor? And how did you do it? I'm asking for a friend. And only tell me how you did it in Lego Star Wars, The Complete Saga. Because I love that game. You know what? I just woke up on like the wrong fucking side of the bed this morning. Like, my hair looked awesome yesterday, and today it's just like not doing the stuff that I like it to. And I did that thing this morning where you just like wake up 30 minutes like before your alarm. And it's like you like kind of get back to sleep, but like not really. So it's just not ideal. I wanted to do, ooh. That's just what I need, right? To lose an eye today as well. You know what my other update is before I get into talking about Maurice? I've actually continued to be good with my social media detox, which may surprise the doubters and the naysayers among you, but yes, it's true. Victor, that was for you. Yes, it's true. I have been being good despite Victor being out of town and me being super lonely. I actually did something absolutely unhinged today, and I actually, instead of getting my fix of socialization from social media, I actually literally called someone that I didn't know that well to see if she and her friend, who I didn't even know that well, wanted to hang out. And it was amazing because the new friend, the one who was with her, got to tell me all about how she performed an abortion on a papaya recently. So yeah, I don't know. Those are all the updates for me. Oh, you know what? Fucking else. Okay. Last thing before I talk about Maurice. I feel like this actually, like the last time I did a video like this where it was like kind of a floral arrangement video, I think I did do something similar where, okay, this isn't, I'm gonna like break these and then I'm gonna be really upset. Something similar where I was, like the chatty part is while I unwrap the flowers, and then the actual analysis part is while I do the bouquet. Why do they put so much tape on these? What was I gonna say? Oh yeah, this morning I kind of like woke up and was like, I need to get rid of all my books. Like, not all of them, but I just like had this feeling of like realization where I was like, most of these books being on my shelf doesn't really like give me a ton of joy. And I don't know, because it's not even about, like, feelings, really, that much. What it's really kind of about is just, like, there are so many books on my shelf that are just from, like, sadder times in my life that aren't really enriching it in any way. Like, my copy of Hamlet is from just, like, high school, but I still quite like Hamlet, and so I don't mind keeping that one. I don't know, I just realized I have so many books from high school and undergrad that I am just like hanging on to, and even just like COVID. Yeah, just a lot of books with just like sad associations or memories, and I'm feeling like in a period of like refreshment and renewal right now, where I'm just like, I like don't want to think about a lot of the stuff anymore that I was like really in when all of that was going on. So I don't know. I maybe super big book unhaul coming soon. I think I'm gonna get rid of my Coleridge biography, and I think, I don't know. It's just, let's see. I don't even remember how I did this. I feel like, I don't know. Just do my best. Well, that is how you do anything, isn't it? You do your best. So, Maurice is actually a movie that I have liked for a really long time. I did mention it on this channel once before, just when I was talking about my like kind of obscure dark academia book recommendations. Maurice was among them. And not a lot of people know about it. So Maurice is a book that was written in secret, and it was written by the author E.M. Forster, and it's his basically groundbreaking secret gay novel that he wrote. So he, it was 1910 when he wrote this, so he literally never expected to see this thing get published because it had actual, like, explicit gay romance in it between men. And yeah, if you know anything about what relationships between heterosexual hegemony and gay men were like at that period in time, you probably know that they were not very good. Like, gay men were just not being treated very well. So, book from 1910, I'm going to be talking, I read the book a very long time ago, and I thought it was okay. What I really, really like is the movie from 1987. This movie, like, I've seen it so many times, probably upwards of 3 times at this point, honestly. The other thing about this video that you should know is, I am a heady Betty, so just, if I say something that's, like, inaccurate or just, like, whatever, please let me know. I am just, like, this is what it looks like so far. Like, I myself am not gay. I just can appreciate a good film, and that is what I think Maurice is. So, Maurice just follows the story of a guy named Maurice going to school at Cambridge, and the movie really doesn't diverge at all from the book, at least not that I can remember. In fact, it's quite a long movie to be made from the book that it's made from, because the book is not super, super long. So it's following the life of this guy, Maurice, and he is at Cambridge where he has his first experience with another man, basically realizes that he's gay, has this sweeping romance with this other guy, and this other guy basically gives in to compulsory heterosexuality after one of their classmates is caught for being gay and imprisoned. So he's sentenced to hard labor, and they generously let him off without having to get flogged or whipped regularly. Ridley is his name. Clive, who is the guy that Maurice has been having this relationship with, he gives in to compulsory heterosexuality, gets himself a wife, and it's looking very bad for Maurice. So most of the book or the film is just covering Maurice's, like, struggles with compulsory heterosexuality, and he goes through, like, conversion therapy, and he's, like, asking all these people for help, and basically the thing has a happy ending. He meets another guy, and he doesn't have to pretend anymore. He doesn't give in like Clive does. He meets this other guy, Alec, and they live happily ever after. And when Victor and I watched this movie together, I forced him to watch it with me after Call Me By Your Name, because we both really didn't like that, and I was like, I have one to show you that's better. I think they're actually from the same director, but night and day really in terms of quality. when I showed Victor this, he was so stressed for the whole movie because he was sure that it was going to end really badly for Maurice and he was going to get caught, but he doesn't. And E.M. Forster famously said or wrote of this novel or this story that a happy ending was imperative. So that is probably one of the first things that I really like about Maurice is it is so, I don't even want to say unapologetically optimistic. I want to say like radically optimistic, because I do think that optimism in certain contexts can be like kind of a radical political act. And that's just kind of what I think Maurice is doing. I kind of don't like it when people say, oh, it's unapologetically happy, because it's like, why are we making people apologize for being happy, you know? I think that's a little bit silly. That is like one of the things that I just really like about Maurice, I guess. I don't know. Okay, I'm starting to understand how to do this. So that is what like the story of Maurice is. It's like it comes across as your very like standard coming of age gay movie, but if you understand like the history behind it, it's actually like so insanely cool. I highly doubt that E.M. Forster could have fathomed that 70 years after he wrote this book, they would make it into a movie and show men kissing on the mouth, full frontal male nudity. You know, like that would have been completely unthinkable. Once you understand that context about Maurice, you begin to understand just why it's so special. There is so much else that I feel like really sets it apart from a lot of other LGBT movies that I've seen. And one of the things that I noticed about this was, and don't take this the wrong way, but Maurice is very like, the movie is specifically, and the novel of course, but especially the movie, because the movie could have gone in a completely different direction with this. Another thing that I want to quickly mention about the movie is that it was produced apparently with quite some amount of pushback during the AIDS epidemic. So really like, I mean, again, it is like kind of radical optimism and like the radical sharing of gay men's stories and experiences. And what I was going to say before I went on that little tangent or little footnote is one of the things that I noticed about Maurice is it's specifically focused on gay men's stories. And what I mean by that, I'm not trying to say that it's bad to have things that like unify the whole community, because again, I don't even go here. However, I think that there is like, and this is just me looking in from the outside, right? I think that there may be some pressure to not talk about gay men's experiences like without like doing some kind of like homage to the rest of the LGBT community. And like, I'm not saying that it's like bad to pay homage, but the problem with trying to include like homages to literally every single person's experiences and like not being allowed to do anything specific is that it just really limits like how complex of a story that you're actually able to tell. I think that also recently, in like recent years, there specifically is this attitude, like I've seen people say something along the lines of like gay men are the straight white people of the LGBT community. And again, like, I don't even go here, but I do think that is a little bit ridiculous because gay men are one of the most oppressed groups in the whole world. And to me, like, also, I'm going to connect this to, like, just like me as a woman and as a feminist. Like, um, I see this a lot. Like, the reason I'm able to see this is because it reminds me a little bit of how, like, now you're never really allowed to talk about just women's oppression by itself. Like, I think that people took, like, the word intersectionality and took that to mean that you're never allowed to target one specific form of oppression. And I do see that with, like, feminism, where it's like, we're never allowed to talk about feminism just for the sake of women. It has to always be, like, come on, guys, like, feminism is actually, like, don't worry, it's also related to all these other causes. And it's like, why are women by themselves not enough for people to fight for? And it's the same thing, I think, with, like, gay men's issues, where it's like, why is it not enough for you that gay men are oppressed, like, why does there need to be, okay, I don't think I'm actually gonna trim these specific ones. And Maurice, like, I think it just feels like it's revealing to me this deficit, right? This deficit in a lot of other, just, like, modern, like, LGBT media. And again, I don't even go here, but I found Maurice specifically to be so much more powerful because it was talking about, like, a specific experience. Like, it really is just focused on gay men's experience. It doesn't feel obligated to show like a bi character or a lesbian character or a trans character, and there's nothing wrong with including those things, but it really is, like, focused on, like naming the problem, which is prejudice against gay men. And there's going to be someone who's like, oh, so you think that those other prejudices aren't a problem? And no, that's not what I'm saying. I love how I'm just winging this. Yeah, okay. It's more just like, there is something powerful when you focus on someone's, like, specific experiences. And it's weird because you could say the same thing about Call Me By Your Name, but I just really was not vibing with that one at all in the same way. And I'll talk a little bit about why that is. I don't think it's the director's fault. I will say that much. I mean, I guess I can talk about, like, the chemistry between the actors. I mean, part of what makes this movie so powerful is that Maurice and both Clive and Alex have such chemistry. Like, it really feels like they are in love and attracted to each other. Call Me By Your Name, in contrast, I wasn't really, like, getting that at all. In fact, it felt like the actors were a little bit, like, repulsed from each other, even. And that just it was kind of hard to watch, honestly. That was really, really, ow! Fuck. Just not it. Do you guys ever do that where you, like, pinch your hand in the scissors? I think the fact that the chemistry was so good is part of why it felt like such a powerful movie for them to make during the AIDS epidemic, because it absolutely is a movie that, like, would make a homophobic person very uncomfortable. And because you actually get to see, what's interesting about it is, like, they just are very handsy with each other. It's weird because there's no, like, you guys know in Carol, the 2015 movie with Kate Blanchett and Rooney Mara? You know that movie? There is no, like, artsy sex scene like Carol has, and I love Carol, but there's no, like, artsy sex scene like that in Maurice. Instead, you just get to see them, like, frankly, just acting like people who are in a relationship together. I mean, you see their hands. There's a very famous still of their hands intertwined. And, okay, I think it's okay. Very famous still of just their hands intertwined and, just like them like hugging each other or like just touching each other in like a lot of small ways. And even like when they're in bed together, I mean, you see like Maurice like straddling Alec in bed. I mean, they're under the covers, but he is like on top of him, straddling him. And I think, oh, and the famous wicker chair scene. There is this amazing scene where Clive, or no, Maurice is like sitting on this wicker chair and Clive is like at his feet. And Maurice is just like stroking Clive's hair. And Clive just slowly, agonizingly turns around and he like gets up and he just so slowly wraps his arms around Maurice. And Maurice has this look on his face like he's just seen the face of God, which he kind of has. To love another person is to see the face of God. It reminds me a little bit of A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night. Do you know the scene where the disco is going and White Lies is playing and they like very slowly turn to face each other and she very slowly starts to, or no, he very slowly is like approaching her from behind and she slowly turns to face it. It's just like, I like those very extremely agonizingly slow intimate moments, and I think that scene especially really, I don't know, like, it's just like you can barely even find that in like straight attraction in movies. So it just, no matter what your sexuality is, it's just like insanely romantic. Really, look it up. Okay, I think it's not a disaster. I think it looks kind of nice, actually. So chemistry is really amazing. Other thing I should mention is the locations are just gorgeous in this. So obviously filmed at, ooh, am I gonna be able to break this? It's gonna be really difficult, I think. Filmed actually at Cambridge, so it's, absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, really, really gorgeous. Kind of like I would almost call Maurice more of like a light academia film than like a dark academia film. So if you're in the market for something like that, you may be interested. Oh, you know what else? I forgot to mention this. Like, I don't know. There's something about like, let's see here. You actually like, do this way. What my favorite thing is in this movie, though, actually has to do with Maurice's character. And this isn't really just about the movie. Oh, I hope I didn't just ruin it. This is not just about the movie. By extension, it's also about E.M. Forster's choices when he was writing the book. Maurice's character is so much just like not the stereotype of what the protagonist of the great gay novel is supposed to be, right? Clive maybe said it the best when he said that Maurice was like a dull lumbering beast or great lumbering beast or something like that. Maurice is literally, and other people have pointed this out, but Maurice is literally like a dumb jock studying business. Maurice is not, because it's Clive, his boyfriend for half of this. It is Clive who is like playing four-dimensional chess in his mind and like just psychoanalyzing his own attraction, and who is like going to Greece to brood, and who writes poetry, and who, you know, wants to write a symphony, and just like doing all this stuff. It is Clive who is like that. Maurice, the protagonist, is literally this like dumb jock, and I mean that in the most endearing way possible. Maurice just like is how he is. And Clive, because he so intellectualizes everything about himself, basically, because Clive intellectualizes himself in this way, Clive ends up intellectualizing himself into a corner and into compulsory heterosexuality. But Maurice just, like, he has this, like, very male, like, masculine, almost like, yeah, like, patriarchal gall to him, which means that he is not, like, frenetically just analyzing everything. He is, like, this doesn't mean that he has no feelings, because he does, and you do get to see him cry multiple times in the movie. He, at his core, is just, like, not willing to diverge from who he truly is. It's really, like, when you watch the movie, like, so there's the scene where, you know, Maurice goes to the conversion therapist, right? And he's like trying to get help for being gay so that he won't be gay anymore. And even the conversion therapist is like, look, this isn't a phase for you. You just, man, like, I like, you can come back, but I'm not sure I can help you, and you should probably just move somewhere where you're not going to get criminalized, because it's, you know, like, he can kind of tell from the way, because this is after Maurice reports to him that he had sex with Alec, and just the way that, I don't know the actor's name actually, but just the way that he talks about this when he is reporting this encounter to the therapist, it's like you as the viewer are just aware of like, oh, like, he really doesn't actually feel sorry about this. And I think that this is one of the most compelling and enchanting things about Maurice's character is he is this like, just like unstoppable boulder of just like, he is the way he is. And part of the reason that this stands out to me so much about this movie, because Clive, obviously, Clive, you know, gets himself a wife and a hideous mustache, and he starts living a lie. I mean, even the way he talks to Maurice from that point forward in the movie, it's like it kind of like sounds like he's trying to sell Maurice something. And he is trying to sell him something because he's trying to sell himself something. And so Clive, because he so hyper-intellectualizes himself and overanalyzes every impulse of his heart, he basically starts living a lie. And I think that more broadly, like, even if you aren't gay, what this movie has to offer is a really powerful narrative about being who you truly are versus living a lie. And I am gonna, hopefully this isn't disrespectful, but I'm gonna briefly connect this to like feminist analysis, because I see many Clives among women, we should say. Like, you know, you talk to women and they, like, I think part of the reason that I like this movie is because I kind of, like, identify with Maurice a little bit. Specifically because, oh, that looks very bad. back. I don't know. Okay, if you turn it this way, it looks fine. I kind of like identify with Maurice a little bit because I feel like Maurice faced with Clive when I am talking to other women about like relationships, because relationships and like sex related things, like so many women just like they do the Clive thing where they will hyper analyze. Like, for example, let's take the example of like having kids. You know, you ask me if I want kids or not, and what am I going to tell you? I'm going to tell you no. And it's like I could give you a long list of reasons, but at the end of the day, it's the real answer that gets to the core of it is simply that I don't want them. I don't want them because I don't want them. And I could give you justifications, but I don't feel the need to justify it to myself. So it feels weird to like give reasons for that for people. And whenever I say this to other women, even progressive women who are well-meaning, I get the, oh, I can like kind of just tell that other women are very uncomfortable by my own confidence in my own understanding of my own desires, because other women, when you ask them this, they'll go, well, I don't know, I don't think so, but like maybe, and like here's the thing is like, if it's not a yes, it's a no. If it's not yes, I actively want this, it's a no. It's you are coping and convincing yourself to want it. You're doing what Clive is doing. And I do, like, when there's a scene in the movie where it's like, I think it's Clive's sister gets married, or maybe it's Maurice's, and it's like literally 9 months later, there's already a baby, and it's like you feel this encroaching specter of heteronormativity that's just creepy. It's creepy. It feels creepy and fascistic, and it's God. You feel terrified for both Maurice and Clive. Pressure is on to do this thing that is very intimate and will feel very violating if they are forced to do it against their will. I just feel like a lot of women do this with their own desires, and like I also hear this in like women that I know who are like trying to date, and I find it like very weird talking to them about men sometimes, and like the guys that they're dating, because it's like, you know, there's no, like they'll talk about these guys they're seeing and they don't even seem excited, and I don't understand this. Because like before I was with Victor and when I was on the dating market and dating, it was like if I liked you, I was like, I'm gonna put a bullet in my brain if he doesn't text me back. Like I'm gonna die. I like just like heart pounding, like so nervous, just like it's really like the most exciting feeling in the world seeing a new person. And so it's like kind of weird to me that like women will talk to me about these guys and be like, well, like I could like him, I could learn to like him, I need to overcome the fact that I don't like him. And it's like, no you don't, just don't like him. I mean, I firmly believe that, and Victor and I talk about this all the time, I firmly believe that the only reason that I ended up with a catch like Victor, the only reason I managed to pull him is because he's told me this, he could tell that I wasn't afraid of dying alone. And I was like, well, if I don't like you, then you will not be living in my house. Like, you will not be in my bed, you'll not be in my house, I don't want to hang out with you, like, either I like you or I don't. Like, I just kind of, like, can't imagine, like, I have never gone on a date with someone that I'm not attracted to, and it's, I think it's been very normalized to just be so insecure that you are a Clive, where and that should be taken as a very rude insult given what his mustache looks like after he starts acting like this. And I should be like, to be respectful, like obviously within the context of the story, he's doing this in response to fucking terrorism from the government against him and other gay men, but just saying. But so many people are just Clives, where they are just like not in touch with their truest self, and they're like living a lie, you know? And I just can't help but think that like the world in general would be a better place if we all just stopped like lying to ourselves about what we like versus don't like. And yeah, I think that is why I guess I like really identify with and like Maurice's character, is because he is in this really repressive society. They're putting this pressure on him to, you know, like be a father and like do the good you know, don't you want to be normal, Maurice? And that's like how they treat it. And Maurice is just like no, I won't be doing that. Like, you know, and it's funny because every time that he tries to conform a little bit, you know, he confesses to this family doctor friend. He's like, he says this unbelievably gut-wrenching line where he says, I'm an unspeakable of the Oscar Wilde sort. And the friend just like refuses to hear it. And he's like, pshaw, like, get out of here. Like, he just won't hear it. Like, it's like when you are your truest self, people that are too scared to do that will cope by telling themselves that you're bluffing. When in reality, you're just like existing in like your normal neutral state. And even the conversion therapist says to Maurice, part of the reason he says that Maurice needs to get out of England is because he says something along the lines of, well, England has never been inclined to accept human nature. And, you know, again, lines that will make homophobes very, very angry. This is just like a life pro tip from me to you, especially if you're like young and you've somehow found this. I mean, I'm young too, but like if you can tell that I'm older than you, like this is a life pro tip. If you are having to like, and I'm not talking about things where you're using logic to like think it's presumably better. Like, for example, I get exhausted with my PhD sometimes, and I have to convince myself to not drop it and not run away. That is different from what I'm about to talk about. That is using logic and actually weighing your options. But when it comes to like attraction and very intimate things like wanting to have kids or wanting to get married, these are things that you just know in your heart if you want it or if you don't. You know, even if they're a perfect bodybuilder who makes six figures, it's like, if you don't like him, you just don't like him. You are supposed to be having fun and being excited by attraction. If you're not excited, you're just not attracted. And do you want to spend the rest of your love life playing four-dimensional chess? No, you fucking don't. So anyway, I need to harp on this less. The last thing that I want to say about Maurice, and I think that part of the reason that this movie is so brave is because it actually is like quite sexual. And I mentioned this related to the chemistry, but I think the reason that this is important is not like, it's not like from a spice perspective. Because there isn't what people would consider like spice in this. Like there's no like grinding or, you know, super hot, like steamy. Like all of the sexuality is communicated through touch. And because of that, it comes across as like very authentic and real. And I think that the reason that this is very important about this movie and why I think it just really hammers home the overall mission behind the movie is because there is this really rampant like asexualization of representations of gay people and bi people in the media that I have seen recently, and I'm thinking mostly about books, but just like this overwhelming, like, it just feels like play acting. It doesn't feel like real eroticism. And like, have you guys seen just the like? Have you ever seen like? Oh, you know what I'm thinking of? I'm thinking of like Ariana Grande break up with your girlfriend, or like Tate McRae sports car, where it's like, oops, at the end we reveal that it actually was a lesbian thing the whole time. And but it's just like so sterile, and it's not like actually what lesbians are like in real life. Like, it's very like gender conforming, like to try to balance out the fact that it is like implying two women are attracted to each other. Um, this movie makes it very clear that the actual reason that gay men were hated by bigots and are hated by bigots is because bigots are specifically not okay or disgusted with the sex that gay men have with each other. And I actually think it's like really important to explicitly acknowledge that. And again, like, this is my disclaimer, I'm just a heady Betty from the outside, but I feel like if you're gonna talk about oppression, like, you gotta talk about where it's actually like coming from. And that is where like homophobic bigotry is coming from. Like, if you've ever seen like, if you go on YouTube and you see these like preachers from whatever, middle America, or somewhere in Africa or wherever, frankly, talking about why they've got an issue with gay people, they a lot of times will be talking about gay men and the types of sex that gay men have with each other. And that's why Maurice really causes friction with people who hate gay people for reasons of disgust. It causes friction because it is actually like showing the parts of gay people's experiences that bigots are specifically opposed to. And I think personally, again, from the outside, I think that is probably more powerful than doing this like sanitation campaign of gay people for like to try to cater to homophobes, right? I mean, I think at this point we can see in our society that sanitation campaign, like, not that there's anything actually to be sanitized because it's just sex, but like, I think that real social change, where people learn to relax about the types of sex that other people are having in private, I don't think that change will happen if we're always just catering to the precious feelings of the bullies, and that is why I think that it really, really matters that Maurice is not catering to the feelings of those bullies. That Maurice he is himself. He is unapologetically gay, and he's not going to hyperanalyze it, despite being in this unspeakably repressive society where you could get whipped for being gay, that unfortunately a lot of people who are very sick in the head want us to get back to. And so that is why I think that Maurice is probably one of the best gay movies I've ever seen. Also just one of my favorite movies in general. I think that, and again, I hope this is okay to say, but like, as a woman who like does not fit the perfect fascist heterosexual ideal of what a woman is supposed to be, it really like hits for me, and it I mean, I feel like Maurice, like, you can read him as like a hero. I mean, he is very heroic. He is this like kind of burly, like I don't know, like Prince Charming type a little bit. You know, oh my god, he has this scene. He's also absolutely savage. He has this scene where he goes back to Clive's house. Um and he shows up and he pulls Clive aside and he's like, "Hey, yo, Clive, I just wanted to let you know that I'm actually doing really great and thriving without you, since you abandoned me. And I'm having sex with your groundskeeper and we've done it in your house. No, I'm not taking comments or questions at this time. Goodbye." Maurice is literally so iconic, and beyond just being a gay icon, I think that he as a character is really an icon of um, being yourself, and being true to the closest and dearest impulses of your heart, regardless of what society says you are like um, supposed to do. Some people complain that Maurice is like too long. I think I used to feel that it was long, but since I've been like digitally detoxing and fixing my attention span, I don't see it in that way anymore. So, your mileage may vary. I've barely drunk any of this wine, if you can even believe it. And I guess I should show you the bouquet that I came up with. This is what she looks like. Thank you all for watching. Yeah, if you've seen Maurice, if you enjoy Maurice, do please let me know. I do have it on credible authority that one of the guys who was involved with the movie, not one of the actors, one of the producer, director people is lurking around YouTube. So if you see this, thank you for giving us such a fantastic movie. I know it's not primarily for me, but I really enjoy it also, and I think it's just profound. So, yeah, that's all I got. Leave me a comment, let me know what you thought of this, what you'd like to see next. Bye!